Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Ezrir Farhan bin Nasir, and my partner is Hamilton Umbat from Group A. And today we will be presenting our ARP poster, which is on the impact of English language proficiency on cross-cultural barriers in Malaysian workplace. So the background of it will be explained by me, the statement of problems, the ROs and RQs, whereas my partner will be presenting on the findings, the conclusion and references. So the background is low English proficiency in Malaysian multicultural workplaces disrupts communication, reinforces cross-cultural divisions, and creates over-reliance on bilingual colleagues. So it can lead to a cultural misunderstanding and poor employee performances. So investing in English language training and inclusive communication strategies is crucial because it encourages bilingualism, promotes intercultural competence, and a better structured company. So improving English is a necessity for fostering unity, efficiency, and professionalism in the Malaysian organization. So studies have shown that limited English proficiency not only disrupts collaboration but also contributes to a decline in overall performance and morale within organizations. This is cited by Cairo et al. 2021. So the statement of problem that we have is in Malaysia, English, widely used as the workplace lingua franca, plays a critical role in bridging cross-cultural communication. However, varying levels of English language proficiency among employees often leads to misunderstandings, reduced collaborations, and cultural misinterpretations. So these communication barriers can hinder workplace cohesion and productivity. Despite that, the emphasis on English in education and training challenges persist. So what are our RQs and ROs? The first one is to assess the impact of English language skills on workplace interactions in multicultural Malaysian settings. Number two is to identify the specific cross-cultural barriers that arises due to limited English proficiency among employees. And then we have how does English language proficiency have an impact in multicultural workplace? What type of cross-cultural barriers are commonly experienced due to the limited English proficiency among employees? And lastly is how do organizations in Malaysia address language-related communication challenges in multicultural settings? So the next three parts will be presented by my partner Hamilton. So I'll give it up to him.
All right, thank you so much, Ezri, for your part. Now let us begin with my part of it, which is the findings, conclusions, and where our references is uh, in this poster. So as you can see, we have gotten three findings in it, which is the first finding is unequal. Is that we found how the impact of English language proficiency is impacted by the unequal English education in Malaysia. According to Ng et al. 2024, they highlighted how many of the international companies in Malaysia often struggle with integrating employees with different cultures and linguistical backgrounds. How do I say this? This type of environment is not that uncommon. It is very common in such many regards, as regards which, in its own sense, has led to the inconsistency in English language training that they receive across different educational systems. So what the findings that we found is that every English education is very much unequal. Some of them have higher standards of English when it comes to education, language education, while others have much lower, much basic, or much simpler, which will function, however, not to the nth degree that is required. The second finding that we found is that they are having is the miscommunication in cross-cultural interaction. The findings that we found in the article states from Matullah et al. In 2021 mentioned that miscommunication driven by low language proficiency often leads to reworks, delays, decrease of quality output that basically due to the cross-cultural organization. What it means by this, but we found in our research is that anytime the company has work, sometimes communication is key. That is the cornerstone or the founding stones of all workplace workplace event, whether it be small work, janitorial work, or high-end speaking works with your colleagues. There will always be a altercation due to uh, miscommunication as well as cross-cultural interaction. For example, when someone speaks about requesting for a meeting and they have a more less than complete sentence of the act with their accent, it doesn't help with their accent as well as their poor communication, which then leads to delays, which then leads to uh, miscommunication, which leads to which leads to more delays, which then leads to slowing down progress, which then leads to losing money. That's the important part. Workplace requirement for communication is a necessity. And lastly, the last finding that we found is that they have a dependency on translation and bilingual colleagues. According to Muhammad Yusuf and Rahmat 2020, they observed that the employees with low English proficiency often relies on bilingual colleagues in communication when it comes to work and like meetings and handing out written documents. This is, in my opinion, as what we will be in the research that we find, very much unacceptable for workplace culture, as putting in a idiom of putting all the eggs in one basket, which is the basket. The basket is the colleague who is bilingual. This basically puts pressure on the person, as it basically turns them into a lackey, not a workplace colleague, not anything. It becomes basically a necessity tool. And here's the thing: what happens to that person if they are gone from the company after they retire or after they quit? It basically would create a pandemonium, a cause of chaos in the workplace itself. So that is the problems that we found, which causes the impact of language proficiency on cross-cultural barrier work in Malaysia. So that is our findings. I will now end it off with a conclusion. So in conclusion, low English proficiency in Malaysians' multicultural workplace disrupts communication, reinforces cross-cultural divisions, and creates an over-reliance on bilingual colleagues, leading to cultural misunderstandings and poor employee performance. How we deal with this is simple. We should invest in the language training, and inclusive communication strategy is very crucial. We should also encourage bilingualism to promote intercultural competency, as well as a better structure, structural hierarchy in order for the company to improve their English is a very much a necessity. to foster a bit of more unity in the company, in the colleagues, efficiency so that they don't have any more delays, and professionalism to show that they are very much professional in their work in Malaysian organization. As you can see, we have, and lastly, as you can see from there, we have the references in there, all four of them, related to our all six of the, my apologies, all six references that we were able to gather in order to create our ARP. And as such, that is the end of our presentation. Thank you much.